Welcome back to the SimTech podcast, where we explore the latest in clinical simulation technology. I'm your host, Craig, and today we're diving into product design to enhance realism in the obstetric and emergency training, the clean bleed mat from Limbs and Things. Joining me for this episode, we have two fantastic guests. First, we have Colette, a midwife from CDDFT, who will be sharing her insights on how the product performs in a real-world clinical setting. And from the team behind the product, we're joined by Nick, a product manager at Limbs and Things, who will give us an inside look at the development and design of the clean bleed mat. We'll be discussing how this tool improves simulated scenarios, its practicality for training, and whether it truly meets the needs of educators and clinicians. So stay tuned as we put the clean bleed mat to the test. Hello and welcome to another episode at the SimTech podcast. Today we're going to be doing our first, hopefully, of many product reviews. And today we're going to be doing the Clean Bleed Mat by Limbs and Things. And to do that, I brought along a couple of guests. Colette, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Colette and I am one of the practice development midwives for the Trust. So I'm involved in designing and delivering training to everybody that's involved in obstetrics.
And Nick, introduce yourself, please.
Yes, my name's Nick Girolamo. I'm a product manager at Limbs and Things. I've been with the company for 31 years, believe it or not. Yes, a long time. And I'm responsible for bringing in new ideas and new products into the company and pushing out to the market.
Well, that's a long time. So this is why you've been signed up to this then, Nick, haven't you?
Absolutely.
You
Yes.
know the most about everything.
I've been around the block several times when it comes to things that we make.
Yeah. All right, Nick. Would you like to introduce the equipment that we're going to review today?
Yeah, so essentially this is the Limbs and Things Clean Bleed Mat. What it is, in a nutshell, it provides the means to introducing volume bleeding in a simulation without the mess. And I think that's the sort of key thing here that we need to kind of perhaps talk about as we go through. If I describe the product, it's essentially a mat, which is actually a bag. It's like a clear vinyl bag, which houses an absorbent sheet. And then that runs into a pump system, which then runs off from a reservoir. And essentially what that allows you to do with a controllable sort of speed control on the pump, it allows you to pump simulated blood from the reservoir through into this mat to sort of give the impression that blood is oozing out of a patient, should we say. The kind of one of the sort of key features on this is the fact that it's got this variable control. So you can do anything from, it's about 60 mil per minute loss up to 500 mil a minute loss. So you actually have that sort of controllability. It's very versatile. It's something you can sit under a simulated patient. You can put it under a full body mannequin or even a task trainer.
Yeah, and who would you say that when it was created, who do you think it was designed for?
Well, initially, the creation started in the sort of obstetric and midwifery space. So we were working on another project, which is looking at some of the things we do, which is our prompt birthing simulation, some of the modules we do there. And we were kind of finding out from some of our customers that we had a sort of wet system, which is part of our postpartum hemorrhage module, but customers were afraid to use the blood because it made a mess. So we came up with all sorts of different sort of ways of perhaps doing something more cleanly. One of them was actually having a roll of sort of red material that you sort of rolled out from underneath the prompt birthing simulator. But that was just a little bit naff, should we say. So
low fidelity is what we say. We say
low fidelity, exactly. So we thought, well, what's the next level up from that? If we could actually have something that actually really looked like blood, because obviously as soon as you see blood, sort of a massive hemorrhage happening underneath a patient or something, it's a call to action, isn't it? Everyone stands up and rushes to it. So we kind of thought, what could we do? And then we sort of started playing around with basically plastic bags filled with blood. And then we obviously designed it into a more sophisticated system, which is now like a sort of vinyl bag with multiple sort of connection points. So you can have it sort of landscape or portrait underneath the patient. So you could have it on the side of a patient, like perhaps it's a gunshot wound or a sort of a loss of a limb, so for the military. Or you could put it the other way up if you're using Inco pads, for instance, underneath mother if she's got a massive hemorrhage after birth.
Is any special training required, Nick, to use it, or is it plug and play?
It's really simple to use. It takes all of about 2 minutes to set up. You are literally kind of rolling out the mat, feeding in one of the absorbent sheets, and then sealing it at the top end, connecting the tube. And we have two lengths of tube. You have a tube that keeps the reservoir quite close to the simulation, or you have a longer tube that allows you to set it away from the simulation, so that the people in the simulation, the trainees running through the drills and stuff, don't actually see it. And you connect that to the pump, and the pump, literally, the variable control is like a dial from left to right, and on the lowest setting it's sort of 60 mil per minute, as I've mentioned, and on the highest setting it's something like 500 or 600 mil per minute.
Yeah, and so because this is a pump, is it? Do you hear it? Is it noisy?
No, it's very, very quiet, and it comes in a sort of like a silicon jacket as well, which actually prevents that sort of vibration noise coming through. It has two sort of power modes as well, and what I mean by that is you can plug it into the wall, so it comes with an adapter, or actually there's a set of batteries that can go in the back seat. It takes, I think it's 4 AA batteries, so you can actually have that sort of roaming, as it were.
Ah, okay. And how much does it cost if you were going to buy one?
So if you're going to buy the complete unit, it's £540. The absorbent sheets, we supply those in a pack of 10. So that's the only really consumable bit. The bag is something you can wash out. The product comes with 2 of these clear bags so that you can actually keep the simulation going. So if I give you a really good example, when you're doing quantity blood loss for PPH, what happens in real life is once the woman's bled onto a Inco pad, that Inco pad will be taken over to the scales and weighed. They'd obviously be putting another Inco pad underneath mother. What that allows you to do, because we've got 2 bags, it allows you to cycle those bags, and obviously you can weigh them as well, and weigh for the quantity of blood loss. So the actual absorbent sheets themselves come in a pack of 10, and they're £60 each, but you get at least 10 uses out of each absorbent sheet. So that gets you down to about £6 for each sheet, as it were.
I mean, on first impression, for a mat that bleeds and you're asking for £540, it seems quite expensive, doesn't it?
I think the thing is, it's the sort of value proposition, really, you have to look at. The simplicity and the accessibility of it, it can be used in so many different situations. So you could be using it, as I said to you earlier, I talked about perhaps using it in a sort of military setting. You can use it for emergency medicine. You can use it for gunshot wounds, loss of limbs, wound management, PPH, as we've mentioned, massive transfusion protocol as well. So the blood transfusion protocols, we have some hospitals that are using it for that. So it does have a lot of versatility. It can be used in an outdoor setting as well as an indoor setting. And as I said to you earlier, all those modalities of simulation that we're used to, full body simulators, task trainers, and using real actors as well, so simulated patients, it has that sort of versatility. And so just to kind of step through then, it's 2 bags, 10 absorbent sheets, a big reservoir tank which takes up to 2.5 litres, an electronic pump, and blood that gives you those, it's a concentrated blood that gives you that 2.5 litres rather, and then the power supply as well. So there's quite a lot in the kit.
But for us, it was a little bit of an investment, because the amount of money that you can spend on blood, it soon scales up, doesn't it?
It can do.
Over
However,
an amount of time, it's only inevitable that it will save you money eventually.
Yeah. The great thing about the pump is it allows you, once you've actually run your simulation, the blood actually collects in the bag. And if you're clever, it allows you to swap the tubes over and then reverse the pump flow. So you can actually pump a lot of that blood that you've actually used, because it's still contained, back into the reservoir. So you can actually reuse the blood as well.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, Colette. So why did you need something like this in your life?
Well, obviously we run a lot of simulations, obstetric emergencies, and every year without fail we either do an antepartum hemorrhage or a postpartum hemorrhage. In the past we've tried several different methods. We've had blood in a large syringe with a little tube attached to the end of it. When we were trialing that one, squirting it out, it squirted all the way across the room.
It sometimes squirts inside the pelvis, doesn't it? Pools, don't go where you want to, and then inevitably, things get trapped, blocked.
Yeah, we then tried putting it into emptying an IV bag of fluids and refilling the bag and attaching the tubing to it, and trying to do that just by opening the valve. But again, it was messy, it got clogged up. Alternative to that, we were just splashing the blood on, and as we were using a human being in these scenarios, i.e. me, I was invariably going home covered in blood, which was in fake blood, which took days to wash off.
It's not the easiest stuff to clean either, is it?
It's not getting it off the floors, and also the participants that were coming into these scenarios, it was sometimes getting onto their clothing, their shoes. So it was just really messy, and we just needed a solution that we could still create the same illusion but without the mess.
Yeah, and how easy did you find it to use?
Yeah, well, I'm not a particularly tech-savvy person, as Craig will attest, but I found it really easy, and I've actually taken it out of the simulation centre, and I've actually taken it onto the ward and used it to run a clinical skills drill actually on a labour ward, and it was really easy to set up. I like the fact that we're not wasting as much blood because, you know, as you were saying before, Nick, you can actually, you know, suck some of the blood back up into the reservoir. It's easy to clean. I suppose the only downside for me, kind of in the design of it all, is that when you've got it on full flow, and as it was filling up, so for example, if you've got it on the bed under a person, you take the bottom of the bed off and it then kind of falls down. We found we were getting quite a lot of leakage. And obviously, because at the bottom it's just a roll up and a bit of Velcro, isn't it? And
it's about 3 rolls and some Velcro. That's right.
Yeah. Whether it would be better, you know, when you get a freezer bag and you've got like that Ziploc thing, or like you get with the vacuum pack bags, whether that kind of seal at the bottom would have been better, or that as an added seal to kind of try and reduce that, because that was really the only negative that I found was this leakage that we were getting. So we've had to scale back and not have the blood flowing as fast to try and counteract that.
Okay, that's interesting to hear, actually. And I think we'd had tried with the design various versions of what you've described, sort of all to no avail. So, I mean, something I could certainly talk to the team about again and find out, you know, what our pathway was to where we'd arrived at. But the other thing I was going to ask you on that, you're talking about, you know, things sort of folding out and when you're taking off beds and things. Do you think a sort of smaller size pad it would be useful, or do you think we've got the size right for your needs?
That's interesting, actually, because I think it varies. I think depending on what the scenario would be, but potentially, you could offer a smaller size mat if it came that you got 2 of them again, so that you could have one taken away and weighed and then reconnect it to a fresh one to keep the scenario going. Then potentially, yes, if you had one that was maybe more Inco sized, if you were to offer that potentially maybe as an extra, I suppose it would be dependent on what the cost would be to have that.
But the only drawback for you at the moment is the fact that sometimes you can't get it to seal at the top end.
So it starts with it just sometimes it will leak out, particularly
I mean, it's a big problem with the bed, isn't it, Colette? When you take the bed off, obviously it drops down. What happens, Nick, if you keep the blood pumping and you don't turn the pump off, does it just expel all the blood, or does it know when, you know, maximum volume's been reached?
That's a great question. I think it's pretty much reliant on the person watching it, to be honest. So when you get to that point where it's getting to the outer extremities, you really need to sort of switch the bag over or turn it off, essentially. So you won't get through the whole reservoir in one bag. It takes several attempts before you actually deplete the reservoir. So you have to sort of visually keep an eye on it.
Yeah, so for us, Colette, we need to probably either remember to turn it off or limit how much blood we put in the bottle, so, you know, we can't overflow it.
That's probably a good idea, because normally we tend to have the reservoir quite full, don't we? So if potentially we don't put as much in, then that would hopefully
what are you using,
mitigate that risk.
What volume are you using when it comes to running the simulation then? Is it generally more than 500 ml?
We just whack it in, don't we, Colette? I don't think we've ever thought about it.
Yeah, so what we've used it for has been an antepartum hemorrhage.
Yes.
So we've started off with some fake blood that we've already put on incos to say that we've already changed these incos, and we've weighed them and they weigh this amount.
Yeah.
And then kind of, we'll start off very kind of quite slow, and then we might have a bit of a gush, and then we might turn it back down again.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of playing with it as we're going along. But it's quite hard for me to see because I'm the person, but it's underneath me, so I can't actually see how much blood's coming out.
Right.
So I'm
and you're the one controlling it.
And I'm the one controlling it.
Yeah.
So I'm quite reliant potentially maybe on other members of the faculty, talking to me through my earpiece and saying, actually, turn the flow of blood down now. Or
Yeah.
I mean, we did hear about other techs, didn't we? I don't know if it was you who told me, Colette, that
it was.
run the tube through like the ceiling, and the tube goes all the way along the ceiling and then down into the control room, so the tech's got control of the blood. Have you heard of that before, Nick?
I haven't actually. I mean, I have heard of other ways of controlling it via smart plugs and things like that. That's something that people have used, but I've not heard of the one of the tubing running all the way along like that.
Yeah, you'll just need a really long tube, wouldn't you? To do that.
I mean, something like that is relatively simple at our end because the connectors stay the same. It's just, as you say, a longer piece of silicon tubing.
Mm. And how easy would you say it was for cleaning it up then once you've used it, Colette?
I thought it was fairly simple. Obviously, you try and get as much blood as you can back into the reservoir, and then I just take it in and put it in. Use a shower head, to be perfectly honest. Rinse off the mat's very easy to clean, just with water, which I think is great. You're not using any chemicals or detergents or anything, and it cleans up really quickly. And we haven't, so far, the times we've used it, we haven't been left with any residue or staining or anything on the mats.
Mm-hmm.
And then just rinse the bag out and then just kind of leave it to drip dry.
It's almost like magic, isn't it, cleaning the blood off of the mat?
It's great, isn't it?
It's good to hear.
There's something about it. I don't know why it feels so good watching it all just evaporate.
It disappears immediately as soon as you put it in contact with the water.
Do you guys sort of empty it at there's that sort of big opening port at the bottom in the corner, and once you sort of washed it through, do you actually empty the actual plastic bag piece?
Yes. Yeah, with the little red.
Or should I call it vinyl bag? Plastic bag is underselling it, isn't it? So it's a vinyl.
It is really.
Yeah. Okay. So for usability, then, Colette, if you're going to score it out of 10, how well do you think it scores?
Oh, we've gone to 10 now. We talked about 5 before.
Yes.
I'm going to say probably 8 out of 10.
So we're going to give it an 8, which is a very good score.
That's a fair score, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of the drawbacks that we got is sometimes it can be quite tricky to get a little bit faffy to get the pad actually into the plastic bag in it. Yeah. It can take a little bit of time sometimes, just a little bit faffy there.
Yeah.
But apart from that, really good score.
It's a bit like doing a duvet cover, isn't it? Duvet cover.
Is.
Except for you can't get in there with it.
No. Oh, you do that as well, do you, Craig? Yeah. I do the thing where you hold it inside out and grab the corners and then shake it over your body. Did you do that?
Yeah. I'm with you, Nick. That's how I do it too.
Excellent. Please
finding socks and stuff in there.
That's it. That missing sock.
Oh, that's where the Inco pad went. Yeah. All right, so next we were going to touch is on realism or immersive capabilities. How real does it look for you, Colette?
I think because the bag isn't completely transparent, is it? It's got a slightly opaque look to it. And I presume that's because it's vinyl and obviously we need it to have the strength.
Yeah.
So that probably takes away slightly from the realism. And you don't have the capacity to have blood clots appear in there. Mm-hmm. But other than that, just purely for bleeding, it is quite realistic. It does look quite similar as to how, if you lifted up and looked at the sheet on somebody's bedding, you can just see it spreading, as you would in real life. So I would say yes. So I would say it's fairly realistic.
Yeah,
it's certainly the most realistic that we've had.
Yeah, it's just the shine, isn't it? Sometimes, I don't know,
Yeah.
I've never seen it from a participant's point of view, but when you lift the cover up
Hmm.
and then there's this bit of plastic on there, do you think that gives them a little bit of a clue of what might be happening at some
Oh,
point?
absolutely.
Do you think it gives the
As soon
game
as they
away?
see that, yeah, it absolutely does give the game away.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get away. I don't know that there's a way that you can get around that, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Nick, any thoughts about how you can, make it look less plasticky? I don't know if it's because it's
Well, I mean,
waterproof.
that's a really good point. And Colette, you were talking about the durability. You're 100% right there. We tried numerous materials, and probably materials that are a little bit more see-through than what we've ended up with. But when it comes to durability, I mean, these things are actually used out in car parks, for instance, and anything that's kind of more realistic looking, i.e., more transparent, is most likely to have not such a good strength. And it's with all these things, there's always a compromise, isn't there? The next step on from that, if you can't quite find that right bag with the right see-throughness, or it's a matte rather than a shiny surface, is actually to have the sort of the blood pooling out, directly onto the surface. So it's always we always balance this fine line actually between sort of cost, durability, realism. Finding that sweet spot every time is a challenge.
No,
That's
yeah,
why
absolutely.
we're here doing it.
Yeah, and you're right. There's always got to be a balance, isn't there? And sometimes it's going to take a hit. And we feel like this is probably the hardest part for the bleed mat, was the
Yeah.
realism aspect of it. And it's just because it's in a plastic bag,
Yeah.
as we said, it does give the game away. So, Colette, score out of 10 for realism or immersive. What do
Need a little drum roll on this, surely.
we do? Yeah. So,
I'm gonna mark down slightly just because of the opaqueness. I completely understand why you're doing it, and it needs to be durable. Otherwise, it's not going to work for what we want it to do. It wouldn't be fit for purpose. But purely based on that, I'm going to go down to 7.
Okay.
yeah. And you're right. We like the bleeding, don't we? We think it bleeds at
Yeah.
a good speed, and it's almost like the wow factor of seeing the blood fill up the white. It gives everyone a really good impression of what we're getting across. It's just obviously the shine of the plastic.
Yeah, Colette, I was going to ask you one question then. So, in the in the sort of maternity world, I'm going to be
Yeah.
correct here, be all inclusive here. In the world of maternity, the Inco pad is something that you're kind of quite used to having. So it's a physical thing, isn't it? That's often there in that setting. So in that situation, is it still an issue, a problem, because you actually have a physical mat there which is replicating or replacing the Inco pad?
Yeah, but I think well, we were talking before about the size. Obviously, the bleed mat is an awful lot bigger than an Inco pad. So I think kind of what would make it more realistic is what we were talking about before, is potentially if we had some in a smaller size that were Inco sized.
Yeah. I'm interested in the Inco size because I know that we had standardized this to one of the Inco sizes. I think there's probably numerous Inco sizes as well. So this is obviously built to probably the larger of the sizes of Inco pads. But I think they can be half the size of that, can't they?
Yeah,
Of
and
the actual footprint.
Yeah, so half the size is what we use. It's what most trusts use for obstetrics and maternity, is the half size ones.
Okay.
What other disciplines may use, and I appreciate that this isn't just for obstetrics, but whether having the smaller size as a potential add-on, a potential extra, might make it potentially more appealing to obstetrics.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm just looking as we're talking, thinking about maybe simple ways of having it sort of folded on itself with some clips or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking about ways one could utilize what we've got.
Well, we
as a
actually thought
product.
about, if we ever run out of those pads that come along with it, to sticking an Inco pad in there. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to absorb any of the blood back, but it would save on cleaning up and getting blood everywhere.
So that's a great point, and the product does allow for that to happen.
Yeah.
So
we had a little discussion about that. And maybe that is why the folded part of the bag is not a Ziploc, because then it kind of allows us to fold up to the shape of whatever mat we put inside.
Yeah. I mean, you certainly, looking at it, you certainly could fold it in half and then, as I say, clamp it at the top or something. But yeah, that's something we could look at.
All right. So moving on to the next section, then we're looking at well, we already kind of touched on build quality already. We really would like to see some kind of Ziploc style seal, but I'm sure there will be a reason why it's that. But we haven't really had it that long, Colette, really, have we, to test its durability to long term?
No, we haven't. So we've probably only used it 10 times, maybe maximum. So yeah, so
So if
maybe
you've
not.
used it 10 times,
Yeah.
is that just using one of the absorbent sheets at the moment?
We
So what
rotate
we've-
a little bit, don't we?
Yeah. So we've been using 2 because we run the same scenario twice in one day.
Yeah.
So obviously, we've used 2 sheets, but both of those 2 sheets are still working at the moment. So we haven't hit our saturation point with either of those yet. So it'll be interesting to see how many uses we'll get out of them.
I mean,
I know it says you can do 10, doesn't it?
They don't look like they've had any damage or any wear or tear or anything, have they? They still look just
No,
like
they
the
don't.
first day that we had them.
Yeah, they haven't degraded or,
Yeah, the key to those as well is as soon as you finish your simulation, get them out and under the tap and washed out as quickly as possible, because then you sort of alleviate the sort of, sometimes you can get a slight sort of pinky sort of hue to it if you leave it in there for too long.
It will be surprising.
Yeah, no, I must admit we do.
It will be surprising to see how many
wash
times
them
we can
straight
actually use them, because I suspect it's going to be a lot more than 10.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we advertise 10, but we know customers have used them for more than that.
All right then. So the next, well, actually we've got to score build quality. How are we going to score this, Colette? What do you reckon? Because we haven't really, it's never failed us, has it? We've never turned
No,
it
it
on, and it's
hasn't.
never really failed. It's always done what we want it to do. Although we've had a couple blockages. Well, sometimes we've put we've blocked one of the tubes or something, and it's pulled to the side. But it has done what we wanted every so often, hasn't it? So what do you give it out of 10?
I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to go 8 again.
Oh,
fantastic. Great. All right. And then that puts us down onto functionality. So, as we've said, it works pretty much all the time, doesn't it? And what do you think about the pump itself then? Do you know, with the dial and how quiet it runs?
I do like the fact that, it's not noisy, because when we, have used SimMum, and the pump for that when we've used the PPH module was really quite noisy, wasn't it? So I do like that. The only thing I did notice, and I don't know if it's for cleaning or whatever, but the actual dial comes off quite easily.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that kind of happened mid-use, which kind of made it a little bit tricky for me to control the dial. But I don't know.
Did you manage to put it back on and sort of realign it okay?
Yes, that was absolutely fine. So I wasn't sure whether actually it was supposed to be able to do that or not.
I'm sure it's meant to, absolutely cleaning feature. Yeah, sure.
That's what I was thinking. That's
Craig,
exactly what I was thinking.
The perfect salesperson.
And how much of the blood do you think you save? I mean, it's not 100%, is it, when you suck all the blood back up? Because some gets left in the mat and some gets left on side in the plastic.
I'd say we're probably getting at least 50% of the blood back again.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's probably a reasonable amount to expect. You were never going to get it all out. I mean, it is going into an absorbent mat, isn't it? So, but I think if we're saving 50%, then it's still a saving.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and what do you score it out of 10 for functionality then?
Ooh.
I mean, how many problems have you had with it, really?
No, I'm going to say 9. I'm going to go higher again. I'm going to say 9.
Out of 10. Cool.
It's not doing too badly.
Not doing too badly.
We've always been a fan, haven't we? I mean, when was the first time you saw it, Colette? Yeah. Was it for Mama Ann demo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And good. So you're familiar with Mama Ann as well. Great.
Yeah. And I was very, very excited. And I was just like, oh my God, this, I just thought this is amazing. This is like really going to make our lives a lot easier. And
we're in the market for
certainly make my skin
we're
a lot
in the market
better.
For a new maternal mannequin.
Full body. Well, I can tell you that's been my project for the last 6 years of my life.
We're a massive fan, aren't we?
Because we worked with Laerdal on that as a partnership product, as you probably know.
We loved it, didn't we?
It's the dream for me. It's absolutely the dream for me. If we can make it happen, we will absolutely be doing that.
Oh, I'm pleased to hear
We
it.
were sold, weren't we? We're big fans.
We've tried a few other things, haven't we? We found, but there was nothing even close to what Martin from Laydale came down and showed us. It blew us away, didn't it? All right, that's another podcast anyway. We can't talk about that one now.
Yeah. No, it's really good to hear this from you guys, though, because it just makes everything seem so worthwhile. As I say, it's a project that we've worked on for 6 years, and obviously COVID got in the way of all of that. So I'm just really pleased to see that
you can
going
tell.
to market.
I mean, it just seems like you've been listening to what everyone's been saying about other birthing mannequins, and it's nice to see, you know, our thoughts gone into a mannequin as well, and like you thought about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Part 5 then, last little bit is value for money. As we've said, it probably comes in at about £540 with, what did you say, £60 for consumable mats?
They're £60 for the mats. Yeah, so that's a pack of 10.
Is it worth it, Colette? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, everybody wants to save money. Everybody would like a few little extras thrown in, like, you know, potentially maybe a smaller size bag. But like you say, you have come up with a really good, you know, alternative solution for that, which we are going to try our next outing with the mat. I love how portable it is, which is great as well, because I've carried it between sites because we are a 2-site trust. So the fact that it is so portable is really good. But I think it's value for money. Yeah.
And talking about your portability, just if I can step in here quickly, it comes in that little carry case, doesn't it? So that's, I take it you move it around in the little black case it comes in.
Yeah, it's just it's a nice little extra in it, because, you know, we do use it in situ for skills drills and those kind of things, and it's just nice to be able to grab it, everything contained in one little bag, as long as you've put everything away correctly, that is, and taking it with you.
Yes, that's very true.
But it's been a great little investment, because, you know, over time it will save you money, and that's not even including on the time that you save, you know, cleaning up, setting up, those kind of things. All right, and so that kind of gives us the last score then, Colette. Value for money, what do you reckon it is?
I am going to go high again, and I'm going to say 9 out of 10.
Hey, I was hoping you were going to hit.
All right, so let me do quick maths. Right, so that gives us an overall product of 8 out of 10, which is fantastic for the first one. Nice. Brilliant. All right, so let's finish with, who do you think would benefit from this kind of equipment then, Colette? Obviously maternity, as we've said. Is there anybody else that would use this?
Well, I suppose maybe emergency departments, if they were running any simulation training, foundation doctors, things like that. Like, you know, as Nick alluded to earlier, you can use it for stab wounds, gunshot wounds.
So anybody that bleeds, really.
You can. But so I think it probably has a wide range of uses. Well, whether or not I'm willing to share it with anybody else is a different story.
Yes, you need to be
careful.
Because
it belongs to me.
Yes. Keep it within the department.
Exactly.
I know how it works.
May loan it out for a fee.
Yeah. But that's it. You don't want it's just one thing lost. I mean, how easy is it to get replaceable parts? Well, get this fixed, Nick, if something broke.
Well, it's very easy. We sell all the bits separately, so the tubes are separate. We sell the actual plastic. I keep calling it plastic bag, don't the clear vinyl bags, as a pack of 2, and obviously the absorbent sheets and the blood are sort of consumable items. So any one of these things potentially can be purchased. I need to check on the pump, actually. I'm not quite sure how we've configured that, but certainly the things that are most likely to get sort of damaged over long, prolonged use, like the vinyl bag, if it ever got damaged, that's easily replaceable.
Brilliant. All right, and that brings us to the end then, guys. Anything that you'd like to add before we sign off, Colette?
Just thank you for saving my skin being covered in fake blood and Craig squirting blood all over
it only happened once.
But seriously, I think it's a really good product, and it's something that we will probably continue to use over a sustained period of time, actually, because, you know, people bleed when they have babies, and we run this scenario in some shape or form every single year of our training. So it's definitely, hopefully, it'll stand the test of time.
And Nick, how do people learn more about this product or get a demo or quote?
So if you go to the Limbs and Things website and you just type in clean bleed mat, there'll be a whole bunch of bits of information on there. There's various photographs. There's a great video, promotional video on there, and you can contact our sales teams via the website. The phone numbers and the emails are on the website. And I did have the part number, actually. Well, the part number is 70400. Clean bleed mat, and it's a patented product now as well. We have a patent on it, both in the UK and the USA.
Well, I have heard of techs using things like fish tank pumps and stuff to do very similar similar jobs. I'll tell them to cease and desist immediately.
Excellent, brilliant. Well, thank you for this opportunity. It's been great talking
guys,
to you.
No worries. And I think we can look forward to the next one where we're going to invite Shannon along, and we're going to be doing the IV cannulation arm next, I believe. Fantastic. All right, guys, Colette, that's Nick, great. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of the SimTech podcast. A huge thank you to Colette for sharing her clinical perspective, and to Nick for giving us a deeper understanding of the clean bleed mat from Limbs and Things. It's always great to hear both the user experience and the product development side in one conversation. If you've used the clean bleed mat or have thoughts on how it could be integrated into simulation, we'd love to hear from you, so please get in touch. And as always, if you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your colleagues in the sim community. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the SimTech podcast.